Hey everyone, welcome back to the second devlog of my video game, City of the Cats. In this episode, I made a lot of changes. I added some really cool stuff, including a monster which chases you around. Make sure to watch till the end to see how it turned out. Firstly, I wanted to make an animation for when you collect the treat bags I made in the last devlog. So let's make it. The bag crumpling animation turned out really nice and it's pretty satisfying to watch. Next, I needed to write the code. In the code, I destroyed the treat bag on collision and created a new version with the crumpled animation. I did this instead of putting the crumpled animation on the existing game object because I had to change certain settings in the crumpled version. For example, if I kept the same version, I wouldn't be able to change its collider from a box collider to a circle collider to match the shape. Then I added some randomness to the direction the fish treats go in. After all the scripting was done, it seemed to be working fine. Until I added another instance of the bag while I wasn't recording and found out that the fish were coming out of the wrong bag. Luckily, I found a fix to this really quick. It only took like 5 hours and now it works. Basically, the fish were spawning out of the prefab of the treat bag, which was set to 00. I fixed that by making a variable for the bag's X and Y location, which were set to the position of the specific bag you collide with. I then plugged in these values to the creation of the fish treats and the crumpled bag. Originally, I thought this solution didn't work, but then I realized I'm just dumb and assigned them as game objects instead of floats. Then I made the bag give a random amount of treats between 3 and 7. And I was finally done with the treat bags. Next, I decided to change the grass a little, and I think it looks much better now. Now before I make some enemies, I wanted to make some traps. I thought of the idea of making a puddle because most cats hate water. So let's draw and animate it. Next, I made a warning sign. I was done the puddle but wasn't really happy with it, and it didn't make much sense for the puddle to damage a cat. I ended up scrapping the idea of the puddle and decided to replace it with the thorny bush. Let's make it. I'm done the thorny bush and I think it looks pretty nice. Wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, I fixed it now and this is how it works. I also improved the camera movement and adjusted the player's speed. Now before we start making the enemy, I just want to say thank you for everyone who subscribed and left a comment on my last devlog. Now back to the video. Okay, to start off the enemy, I made a placeholder blob monster and began following this really great tutorial series, as I'm still pretty new to Unity and don't know how to make enemies. After a bit of work, the enemy can now kill you. Then I realized I didn't want to stare at this ugly blob for the rest of the time, so I decided to make a new monster sprite. Then I added a walking animation. Once I was done, I continued the tutorials. enemy is now done. Let's check it out. Here's the movement script for the enemy. So first off, in the update function, we check if the enemy is in chase mode. If it is, it moves towards the player, flipping to face the correct direction. And if the enemy is not in chase mode, we check if the enemy is within a certain distance of the player. If it is, it starts following the player by going into chase mode. Otherwise, it just patrols between 2 points, flipping sides according to the direction it's moving in. And I think that brings us to the end of our second devlog. If you have any suggestions, make sure to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.